Hi everybody, this is Belinda from Belinda's Book Nook, and we're here to do our Friday reads. I have spent like the last 10 to 15 minutes trying to get the camera right. I think I haven't done this in a little while, and I thought the camera was more over here, not there, but every time I kept putting it over there, it just seemed so in my face. So this is the best we could do. And then you had to see me because I'm like, I had the air on and I'm like, you can't hear me, so I have to turn it off. So I'm like trying to like catch as much air as I can before I turn it off, because otherwise it's just like too much sound. I don't want to yell and I don't want you to hear that sound in the background, so we're gonna sweat it out together. But I wanted to catch up with you guys and see how you're doing, what you're reading, how I'm doing, what I'm reading. I am sweating. It is hot here. I told you all, it's just, the last time I talked to you, I think it was hot. It's still hot. I am definitely not liking the humidity, but what are we going to do, right? You know, it is summer and we complain in the winter it's cold, so I'm just going to suck it up. So we are in July and it is it's coming to an end really quick. I started out really strong, like, whoa, this is going to be a fantastic month. And it was still a good month. It's just not as much as I thought I was going to do. So let's get to July. Okay, so I started off with the first book that I read was True Biz by Sarah Novick, and if you can tell by the flags, I really, really enjoyed this. I think this is for anybody. It's I want my son to read it. I think it follows a teacher and two students at, well, not a teacher, she's the administrator, and two students at a school for the deaf. And it just raised so many issues very eloquently in the story. And I just really enjoyed it. It was easy to get into. It was enjoyable every time to pick it up. I wanted to read it. There were a lot of, like, I flagged, color-coded the flags. And so I have pages like these ones with the white are where in those, they're between chapters, and they are like either a history, like did you know type thing about this aspect in the deaf community, or especially in the beginning, it was a lot of like actually teaching you signs for things and how to sign and do different things. So I was super enjoying that. Like I told my husband, I'm definitely going to go back to these flags and take a peek, especially before I write my review in here. But I just want to go back over these things. Some of them was just so interesting. You know, it's really fascinating. So I found this to be, like I said, the entry level for this could be anybody. So it could be a young adult, it could be an adult reading this book, and I enjoyed it. So it was a good way to start the month off, because I was like, well, you know, at least we got one good one. I did miss the book for this month for the Read So Lit book club, and then I also missed, I've been kind of disconnected from social media, so I missed, I think Dee Dee did another read outside of the group, if I'm correct, that they are actually having, I think it's tomorrow, maybe, and it's, what's her name? I have her other book, but I did want to read that yet because, oh, do I have it even in this pile? I can't think of the author. This is her second novel, and they're going to discuss that. So anyway, I'm not reading it, so I'm kind of out of the loop on all of that. I don't even see it over there. So nonetheless, let's just move along. So the other book that I read, see, this heat's already getting to me. I'm like, I want to turn it on. The other book that I read was, tell me it's not here. Where is it? Oh no. Oh yeah, here it is. This one, because that's that one right. Yeah. This Time Tomorrow this is how bad it is. First of all, the camera is, I can't get the camera right. And then I didn't even organize my pile down here. Usually I'll organize them so I know what I'm going to talk about it, kind of like the order I want to talk about it. No, I just kind of threw things down here and was like, get that camera on and let's just do this. So this one was This Time Tomorrow by Emma Straub. And the funny thing about this story, this one follows a woman who is just turning, is she turning 30 or 40? Her 40th birthday. And her father is ill. And she goes to bed and wakes up her younger self when her dad is healthy, and it's also on her birthday. So it's kind of a time travel book. But what I found interesting about it was just the way that it made you think about aging, family dynamics and relationship. She was just what I thought this book was going to be. I thought that it met that because it explored, her trying to reconcile with, aging, illness, and death. And her also trying to, getting a chance to see, God, I really should have hung out more with my dad when I was running around with my friends. There's a definitely part in there that she talks about that. And in my later, my mom has since passed, but in her later years and into my adulthood, I spent a lot of time with her, very good quality time. And I think my mom was really fun. She's very intelligent and just so fun to be with. And so I think she was learning through this experience of coming back and forth through the time, is that she, was so busy chasing being a teen and doing those things that she didn't realize how, the good things about her dad too, instead of things that bother her as she got older and things like that. So I really enjoyed this one. I do have a few flags in this one too. And I just thought it's great. I'm hoping one of the flags would be a nice quote that I could put. This is a kind of interesting one. It says, what a very long time one had to be an adult. After rushing through childhood and adolescence, there should be several more distinctions. The idiocy of the young 20s, when one suddenly expects to know how to do adult things. The panic coupling of the mid and late 20s, when marriages happen as quickly as a game of tag. The sitcom mom period, when you finally had enough food in your freezer to survive for a month if necessary. The school principal period, when you were no longer seen as a woman at all, but just a vague, nagging, authoritative figure. If you were lucky, there was the late in life, sexy Mrs. Robinson period, or an accomplished and powerful Meryl Streep period, followed, of course, by approximately 2 decades of old cronehood, like the woman at the end of Titanic. And it's just things like that, but it's just like making you think about things. And that one is really an interesting one to think about, because we have already predefined what periods and what decades and what things are important, but there's things that we kind of overlook that everybody goes through, and we don't think about it. So I enjoyed this. I thought it was a really good book. So that was my second book. Woohoo. And then I started this one because, remember, these are all off of my summer TBR. I started this one and then I stopped. And this is Crying in H Mark by Michelle Zauner. I got into about, I didn't go far. I think page 7. And then I was like, I don't know if I want to read this right now. I definitely want to read it. But I was like, I'll pick up one of the other ones and I'll come back to this. Again, this is in my summer TBR, so I still have time to get to it. So I set it down, and then I picked up this one. And this is The Three Mothers, How the Mothers of Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, and James Baldwin Shaped a Nation by Anna Malika Tubbs. So I started reading this one, lots of flags, because, and what I went into this thinking it was going to be about, and it still has that quality. I think what I wanted, and I don't know yet because I'm not far enough to know, if she's going to change the way that she's formatting it. So when I say that is she's talking about, which is very critical and important to knowing these three women, she's talking about the history and the time period that they came up in. And so, which obviously shapes their beliefs and where they may go in time and when they get into adulthood. And I appreciate that. I'm just hoping that we get to a point where she will talk more specifically about them as opposed to just what's happening, with era they're growing up in. But that said, I am appreciating all of these. It's a really nice timeline and talking about civil rights and things like that. So it is really good in that sense. What I'm not enjoying is I started reading it and then I was like, oh, let me see if there's the audio. And if I'm like, I can read it a little faster, I can listen to it while I'm doing dishes and stuff. I'm not liking the narrator's voice for this. I don't know if it's the author. I shouldn't say that because it might be the author. Then I've insulted the author, provided they ever see this video. But I wasn't feeling the voice. I could think of so many other people that could have read this and it would be more powerful. I felt this person's voice was just so underwhelming. That's the word, right? And so you're talking about really important things and it just is like, So I may end up just like going solo and breaking up with the audio and finishing it by myself, as opposed to like, every now and then picking up with audio. So, but I am enjoying it. I think it's got a lot of information and hopefully I can knock it out in the next few days. Hopefully I can get it done before the month's over because I would love to have that happen. And then I was gonna pick up the book that they read. The book that they read, I think, for Read So Lit was Big Girl, I think was the name of it. But by the time I got the book, they had already had they had it early instead of the end of the month. I think they had the meeting. So I said, no, that's okay, because I had planned on taking kind of the summer away from it. And I had told Dee Dee that, I'll do as many as I can, but I probably won't do all the books. So I am intending on joining again in August. So that said, that's all I've got for you for what I'm currently reading or read this month. But let me show you what I'm thinking about and other things that are happening. So, and I'm talking slower. I can see when I get hot, I'm like, wah. It's very, my body can feel like the weight of the humidity. So this is the book I believe that they're going to be, I'm going to confirm it. I got it out of the library. So I'm hoping this is the right book. This is the book I believe that they're going to read in August. Because we had one book that was, typically the book club doesn't meet in August, but we had one that there was a lot of challenges with the fine print and the story itself. So Dee Dee extended to do another book and offered to take August to do this book. So I'm really excited she picked this book because this book has been on my to purchase list. When it was a new release that was coming out this year that I was very interested in. And I hadn't purchased it yet. And I'm glad I didn't because I'm going to read it. And if I like it and I want it to be in my collection, I will keep it. But this book is called Decent People and it's Deshaun Charles Winslow. And he's the author of West Mills. And I've seen that one too. And I don't know if I own that one. I always feel like I do. But it was one that I did want to read by him. But this one says... this story of a Black community reeling from a triple homicide and the secrets the killings reveal. It says, in the still segregated town of West Mills, North Carolina, in 1976, Marion, Marva, and Lazarus Harmon, three enigmatic siblings, are found shot to death in their home. The people of West Mills on both sides of the canal that serves as the town's color line are in a frenzy of finger-pointing gossip and wonder. The crime is the first reported murder in the area in decades, but the white authorities don't seem to have an interest in solving the case. Fortunately, one person is determined to do more than talk. Miss Josephine Wright has just moved back to West Mills from New York City to retire and marry a childhood sweetheart, Olympus Limp Seymour, when she discovers that the murder victims are Limp's half-siblings, and that Limp is one of the West Mills' leading suspects. She sets out to prove his innocence, but as Joe investigates those who might know the most about the Harmon's death, she starts to discover more secrets than she's ever imagined, and a host of cover-ups ranging from medical misuse to illicit affairs that could upend the reputation of many. I think it's going to be interesting. It like has lots of, you know, um, town characters in here. I'm hoping that, we can kind of vibe on and talk about in the book discussion. And so there was something about this, I know, when I had first heard about it, when I read about it coming out, I thought it would be something very interesting. So it's kind of like a mystery. And so this one's called Decent People. So that's what I will be reading next month. I'm hoping it's with them because I gotta confirm it. So I'm kind of bad. The other thing I wanted to share with you is my pre-order came. I don't know if I showed you this, so if I did, sorry. But my pre-order came for Sujata Masay's next book. And this one is the next one in the series, and this is the Mistress of Bhatia House. This is what it looks like. And because it's part of the book series, I won't really read inside because you don't. Well, actually, sometimes they're not really. It's a pervy mystery. So I don't think it's a connected story. It's a different story. This one's set in 1922. Obviously, with her, she's the only female lawyer in Bombay. Perveen's attending a lavish fundraising for a new women's hospital specializing in maternal health issues when she witnesses an accident. The grandson of an influential Gujarati businessman catches fire, but his servant, his young Ayah, Sunanda, rushes to save him, selflessly putting herself in harm's way. Later, Praveen learns that Sunanda, who's still ailing from her burns, has been arrested on trumped-up charges made by a man who doesn't seem to exist, and blah, blah, blah. So a mystery ensues. We'll learn some more facts, hopefully, about things. The last one was good, but not as good as the other one in the series. So I'm hoping this one will kind of make up for it. Yeah, we'll see. So that's that. That came in the mail because I had pre-ordered it. I've been coloring, but I'm behind. The heat has like slowed everything down creative in me. But remember I told you I've been coloring this calendar. And so this was June's. I was supposed to finish June, but June has a lot. It's got a lot of detail. So I have to finish coloring these other little things to finish June. And then July, I haven't started yet because I go 1 month at a time. I'm sorry, that was July's rather. This is, no, that's June's. I'm sorry, that is June's. Yeah, here's July. July I'm not really excited about. This one is a Philippine Eagles. And I don't know, birds and feathers. I don't know. I love birds, right? Don't get me wrong. But this one just doesn't, I don't know how I'm going to make it interesting. So I'm going to look up, I always look up to see what the colors are of the actual bird and try to, the animal, and try to kind of go close. I might go off and do something different, maybe unexpected. But this is July's, I'm sorry. And then August is here. This one's going to be pretty straightforward, some sand. And we have some sea lions, the Galapagos sea lions. That will be pretty, and a little bit of water there. That should be really pretty one to do, and fast. But this one I think is going to take time, and I still have to finish my June. So I'm on the case. I'm going to try to find some time to finish this one up. I like it. It came out really good. He is a mandrels. And so that's that. And then I was going to show you this book that I found. I think I was just like searching. I was on a Black-owned bookstore site, and they were talking about books and new releases. And I saw this one, never heard of it, and I ordered it immediately. And I loved that it was in paperback. I didn't have to wait. And it's called Women of the Post by Jashunda Sanders. It's inspired by the pioneering Black women of the 6888 Battalion. And it's got a blurb on the cover by Alice Walker. It says Sanders has offered back to the culture a missing part of its soul. And this is the cover. Look at the cover on it. Can you see it? It's really great. And this is the author down here in the back. You can't really see her that good, but that's her. But I'm excited. So let me read a little bit from the back of it. And I was like, ooh, I don't want this to cut in because I still have books for my summer read, but this will definitely be a good one for fall. 1944, New York City. Judy Washington is tired of having to work at the Bronx slave market, cleaning white women's houses for next to nothing. She dreams of a bigger life. But with her husband fighting overseas, it's up to her and her mother to earn enough for food and rent. When she's recruited to join the Women's Army Corps, um, offering a steady paycheck and the chance to see the world, Judy jumps at the opportunity. During training, Judy becomes fast friends with other women in her unit, Stacy Bernadette and Alice, who all come from different cities and circumstances. Under Second Officer Charity Adams' leadership, they receive orders to sort over 1 million pieces of mail in England, becoming the only unit of black women to serve overseas during World War II. The women work diligently, knowing that they're reuniting soldiers with their loved ones through their letters. However, their work becomes personal when Mary Alice discovers a backlog letter addressed to Judy. Told through the alternative perspectives of Judy, Charity, and Mary Alice, Women of the Post is an unforgettable story of perseverance, female friendship, and self-discovery. What? Tell me that doesn't sound good. Tell me I can see the movie, right? I can't wait. I know I just thought of it, but I should have looked up before I did this. But Tyler Perry is doing a movie of an all-woman, I think, battalion or something like that. I don't know if this is the same. I don't know. But I know is Halle Berry in it? I forgot who the actresses are in it, but I know he's working on it. I'm so down for that, and this sounds so good. So if you haven't heard of it, Women of the Post, check it out. Joshunda Sanders, and that's that one. And I don't think she's written anything else. Nope. Wait a minute. She's a former Obama administration political appointee, and her fiction, essays, and poetry have appeared in dozens of anthologies. She's a recipient of a Bronx Recognizing Its Own Fiction grant and has been awarded residencies and fellowships at Hedgebrook, Lambda Literary, the Key West Literary Seminars, and the Martha's Vineyard Institute for Creative Writing. Women of the Post is her first novel. So this is her first novel. So check it out. Get it. It's in paperback. Nice and easy. Ooh, I think it's going to be a really good read. Now, last things I wanted to say is I got this for my birthday, and you know how I always tell you I'm struggling with poetry. This book is just speaking to me. It speaks to me every time I open it. I open it to a poem that just is really so wonderful. So I'm really enjoying it, and I want to mention it again in case anybody gets a chance to look at it. It's called All Along You Were Blooming, Thoughts for Boundless Living, a collection of poetry from Morgan Harper Nichols. It's really, really good. It's her artwork, and then she writes the poems, so it's really beautiful to look at the inside of it and how it looks. It's just as gorgeous as the cover is. It's just as gorgeous inside, and it comes with a little ribbon so you can hold your place. But I'm really enjoying it. And then this is from the library that I took out. I just sometimes take books out just for inspiration, looking at the art and color. This is called The Big Book of Blooms, and it's by, let's see the name of the person, Yuval Zamir. Yep. And, oops, what's the date due? Probably past due. Oh, it's going to be due this week. But it's just gorgeous. Let me get some pages. Like, it talks about flowers and flower anatomy and things like that. And it's just really I guess I want to call it a whimsical, like, really pretty pictures in it. And it says, what does a Venus flytrap eat? How strong is a giant water lily? Do flowers bloom at night? I mean, it's, I guess, a kid's book, obviously, but it's just so great that it's great for adults to see it. And I'm exploring watercolor paints this summer, and so I'm really digging these, being able to look at the color combinations they have in it. It's stunning. So, you know me, I love kids' illustrated books. Like, I just would have a room with all the artwork all over the walls. I would just make my day. So yeah, so that's what I have out of the library right now, aside from the book for book club. What are you reading? What are you doing? What are you eating? Tell me what you're eating. I mean, I don't know. That might be interesting to know. And let me know how you're doing. And I have a video that it's my spring vlog. And I haven't finished editing it. I've got the videos finally all downloaded. And so I'm trying to cut, and I'll get you the spring probably by the winter, and then the summer by the spring. So I'm hoping to, this year my only minimum goal was to try to do a vlog at least once per season, and then I can work with that and then improve next year. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I should hopefully get that up to you guys soon. But let me know what you're reading and what you plan on reading, what your August plans are. How's your summer going? I feel rushed. August makes me feel rushed. But I'm going to try not to think about it. But I'm glad I get a chance to say hi, and I want to hear how you're doing. Take care. Bye.